So can you guys see my screen? Mesum, can you see my screen?
Nope, I think I cannot.
Wait for a second.
Okay, now we can see your screen.
Oops.
No problem. I think, yeah, move into the slide.
Okay. So as you all know, this session is focused on AWS SageMaker. So I'll start with introducing myself. So as Mesum has already told that I'm TALAL and I have worked for over 5 years in industry, and I'm working as a machine learning engineer currently, but previously I was working as a data scientist and data engineer as well. So because nowadays you have to work with big data, so cloud and machine learning goes hand in hand. So it's essential to learn about cloud if you want to excel in data science. So that's why I did my certifications in AWS. I did my certification in solution architect and machine learning specialty. So moving on forward, so the content of this presentation will be, we will first discuss why SageMaker is important for businesses, then we will discuss machine learning, Amazon stack, and afterwards we will see the introduction to SageMaker. I'll try to wrap it up as soon as I can so we can have some time for QA session. So before wasting any time, let's move forward. So why SageMaker? So SageMaker helps business in improving their customer experience. It helps them to make difficult business decisions efficiently. It also helps them to add new innovations to their business. So basically, Amazon provide different layers of machine learning stack. So the low level layer includes the basic ML frameworks, like they provide you with TensorFlow, PyTorch libraries or Keras libraries, and they also provide you with infrastructure, which includes GPUs, EC2 instances, or FPGAs, depending upon your requirement. And then you can also make use of some high level services, like if you are a person who don't know about machine learning or data science algorithms, and you are a developer, so you can make use of simple Amazon services, like you can use of vision speech services in your application. So I'll give you an example in the next slide. So let's suppose if you are running a business and you have a clothing shop and you want to build a chatbot for that site, uh, for a person who is non-English speaker. So you can just make use of these services which are in this slide. So what will happen is that customer will talk to the chatbot in any language. So what transcribe will do is that it will convert his speech to text, and then afterwards translate will translate that language to English, and then comprehend service can be used to check sentiment analysis on that text, or it can be also used to check using Lex, which is basically a bot framework, chatbot framework provided by Amazon. And lastly, you can use Poly to basically convert the text to speech. So this will give customer an experience like he is talking to a real person. So in this presentation, our core focus will be ML services. So in ML services, Amazon provides us with Amazon SageMaker. So Amazon SageMaker is a huge product, and there are many different functionalities provided by Amazon in SageMaker. I can name few of them. So ground truth is basically a technology which helps you to label missing data set, and then they provide you with different optimization technique. They provide you with automatically hyperparameter tuning, and they also provide you with automatically deployment to high scalable and highly available environment. So Amazon SageMaker provide, so these are few of the services Amazon SageMaker provide to machine learning engineers. So starting from first, so it helps customer because as you all know that 70% of your time is consumed by for cleaning and pre-processing your data. So Amazon SageMaker provide simple Python notebooks to clean your data. So you can create your own notebook, or you can create a pre-built notebook provided by Amazon. And then you can use pre-built models provided by Amazon. So these models, there are few of them here, like k-mean clustering, principal component analysis. So these models cover almost all aspects. Like if you want to convert speech to text, you can use sequence to sequence model. Or if you want to work on time series forecasting, you can use DPA forecasting model. And then you can use one-click trainings, so you don't have to write a lot of code. You just have to click a button and it will train your model. And then you can optimize your model based on your with a single click. And last but not the least, you can use this Amazon service to deploy fully managed, highly available, and auto-scalable endpoints. So, so that's all from the presentation. Now I will move on towards the demo. Okay, so let me first of all give you a quick overview of the demo. So in this demo, what we will be doing is that we will be working on a Chicago traffic data set. So our input feature will include some address. It will include some other features, and the output feature will be the number of violations on that given day. So let me open my AWS SageMaker console. So can you guys can see the screen? Mason, can you see the screen?
Yep, I can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is basically Amazon SageMaker basic console. So you can see that there are on the left panel, there are few of the functionalities, which few of the features like ground truth, we already have mentioned that. But in this presentation, I'm focused more on Amazon SageMaker Studio, which is an IDA sort of a thing provided by Amazon. So this is Amazon SageMaker Studio. So first of all, let me give you a quick overview of few of the functionality which is provided by Amazon in this SageMaker Studio. And let me tell you that this studio is currently not available in all regions. So right now it's currently available in few US regions, and I guess two in European regions. So currently it's not available in any closed region close to this Asia Pacific or in Asia. Okay, so here in Amazon SageMaker, currently we are in folders tab. So in file browser, you can see your files, all your notebook files and all other data in this folder. You can create new files, you can upload new files, or you can also attach a Git repository to it. So if you want to create a new file, the launcher will open. And so in launcher, you can select any container. So there are multiple containers. Let's suppose if you want to work on a deep learning TensorFlow model and you need a GPU, so you don't have to create a Kubernetes container. So Amazon provides you with the most common containers automatically. Okay, so then afterwards, there are other features like I'll move on towards the more those features which are used more. So this feature actually helps you to shut down any kernel or any job. So right now I have a kernel running, I have a terminal session which is running, and I have to I have a single image which is running on 2 GPU resource. So moving on forward, as we have already seen in IBM, there is a feature which is known as Auto AI. In Amazon, there is it's a similar to that Auto AI. It's an autopilot. So in autopilot, you just have it's just like you will provide your training and testing data to this autopilot, and it will generate models, and you can choose the best model. So let me show you the basic pipeline. So you provide Amazon autopilot with the raw data, and you specify the target column, and then Amazon autopilot will automatically generate a model, or it will generate multiple models based on the provided data, and then you can make modifications in that model. So it will generate notebooks, so you can alter that notebook according to your requirement. Okay, so so let me just show you the options here in autopilot. So you just have to write the name of your job. It should be unique in that region. You have to specify your bucket in which your input data set is present. Okay, you have to specify the prefix of the input data set, and lastly you have to specify the output bucket and output prefix. Okay, and yeah, there is another option in which you have to select the type of the machine learning model. If you know about the type of the machine learning model, you can specify. But if you don't know the type of the machine learning model, you can just select auto, and Amazon then will automatically decide which type of model is best fit for this problem. Moving on forward, so this is for deployments. This is for endpoint. So right now I have an endpoint deploy. So this is showing my endpoint, and 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 you can also share your screens. You can also share your notebooks using this snapshot feature by just clicking on this feature, and it will create a snapshot of your notebook, and you can then share that notebook with any person. Okay. Apart from that, you can check your diff using this simple feature. So in this, now you can see that you can actually visualize your differences, like in this code, if there was any change from the saved copy and from the unchanged, from the current copy. So it will tell you about those changes in diff. So moving on forward towards our problem. So in this problem, as we have, so I'm not going to execute this code because it will take time. It took me for like about 50 minutes to execute this code, but I'm just going to give you a quick overview of this code. So it's just a Python code. First of all, what we are doing is that we are setting our bucket name where our data is present currently. So then we are loading our data set. Okay, so this is the form of the data set. So we have filtered out few columns from our data frame. So currently we have address, violation date as an input feature, and we are going to predict violations uh, on our output. Okay, so these are few of the visualizations. So it's simple. You can also visualize these kinds of visualizations in Python Jupyter Notebook. So it's just a Jupyter environment in Amazon SageMaker. And after that, we are splitting our data in our training and testing sets. And the thing which requires attention is here. So what we are doing here is that we are making use of Amazon SageMaker hyperparameter tuning. So what we are doing here is that we are not going to tune our hyperparameters manually, but we are going to use Amazon SageMaker automatically hyperparameter tuning functionality. So what we are doing here is that we are setting our range. Like we know that our ideal minimum batch size is between 100 and 200. So Amazon SageMaker will identify the best batch size. Similarly, it will identify the best epoch size, and it will also tell us about the learning rate. So we have to give an objective metrics as well in this case, because we want our so that Amazon will try, SageMaker will try to minimize this objective metric. So in this case, it will try to minimize the root mean square error of the testing data set. Okay. So after deploying our model, so there are different strategies you can use to you can use for hyper tuning. You can use Bayesian method, or you can also use a random search method. So right now we are using Bayesian method here. And after doing all this, doing your training, choosing your hyperparameters, now it's time to deploy your model. So you just have to write this code to deploy your model. And even if you don't want to write this code, I will show you another option in which you can just click on a button to deploy your model. So in this case, right now, what we are doing here is that we are setting our initial tuner, which we built in the previous cell. So we are providing our endpoint with the tuner, and we are setting the instance size. So this is basically the hardware on which our job will be running, our model will be running for inferences. So that's all from SageMaker Studio, and now let's move on to the SageMaker. So in SageMaker, as I mentioned before, we can deploy our models by using just clicking a button. So here we have model. So this is my model, forecasting DPR. So you can just click on this model and you can create endpoint. So I'm not going to create endpoint because it will take some time. So you just have to click on this button. But first of all, you have to specify the name of the endpoint, and you have to specify some configurations. Okay. So okay, after that, one important thing I want to discuss is the monitoring of endpoints. So let's suppose this was our endpoint which was deployed. So you can actually monitor your endpoint using this monitoring screen. So you can see the CPU utilization, memory utilization of your endpoint, and also you can deploy multiple variants of model on a single endpoint. So that's an important thing. You can discard any model if that is not performing well, and you can set the weight of the traffic to that specific endpoint. And let's move on towards the ground truth functionality. So okay, so in ground truth functionality, most of the time you are provided with data with a lot of missing values. So what Amazon SageMaker ground truth does is that it will create a job, and it will label your data based on other features. So let's suppose if you have a data set with images and you don't know about the label of the images, so you can fill all these things up, and you can choose image from the task category, and you can choose the type of the image you want to label. So let's suppose if you want to label uh, image, if you want to use single label, so you can use this checkbox. Or if you want to use multi-label, like in this case, you want to identify if there is a human, vehicle, or animal in this image. So for that purpose, you can use this image classification technique. This will also work for text, and this will work for videos as well. So it's an amazing feature provided by Amazon SageMaker. And uh, after that, okay, so you can also monitor your training jobs. So you can let's suppose there. Let me see if there is any training job here. So yeah, so let's suppose if I was running a training job, so it will show me the status of their training job. In this case, I executed this job before yesterday, and I know the duration of this job. I can see more details of this job by just clicking to the link, and it will show me all the details of this job, including the output. So let's move on to the output. So yeah, this is the output of the job. So by clicking on this link, it will show me where the model of this job is present. So after that, you can also use pre-built model, like AWS Marketplace provide you with a lot of models. Few of them are free, but most of them are you have to pay for those models. So you can use those models according to your requirement, and you can also publish your model if you have built something you feel like is worth selling. So you can sell your model here. And then I feel like that's all from my side. If you guys have any questions, so I can focus more on that specific area you need me to focus on.
Okay. Thank you, Talal, for your wonderful session. So, questions. So, one of them is AWS certification free?
Is AWS certification?
Free.
No, AWS certifications are not free. So, but there is AWS provide you with tokens. So let's suppose if you clear one certification, then in the next certification they provide you with 50% off coupon. So they give you incentive on clearing certifications.
Okay, great. Another question is, if we want to try your workflow, can it be accessed remotely, and what kind of credit it will give to execute?
Sorry, you cannot get my credentials, but I can share a repository. This is basically a Amazon Labs repository. I can share this in comments, so you can get SageMaker code from this repository, and you can try and test on your own.
Okay, great. One of the last question is, can you share your LinkedIn profile as well so people can connect?
Sure, I can share it with you with in the comments.
Okay. Thank you, Talal. Thank you for joining. Let me just share my screen.